Some years ago, there was an event here on Earth that's called the Galactic Alignment. And it's when our solar system and our Earth and Sun have moved into a certain position in relationship to the galactic center.
Yes.
And it's a position where there's a kind of open line to the galactic center that we usually don't have. I learned about that as a phenomenon, and after learning about it, I decided to do a meditation because I wanted to understand the phenomenon a little bit more than I had read.
Mm-hmm.
I closed my eyes to do a contemplative meditation on this activity, and within a moment, I found myself encountering a vast, vast being, a consciousness that was totally foreign to anything I'd ever encountered before.
Can you describe a little bit of it to us, just the nature of what you felt?
I felt in awe because of the vastness of this being. And then it began to communicate with me telepathically. And the first thing it told me was, it has no interest in human beings, which was very odd to me. But then it followed it up immediately by saying, but I have a great interest in humanity. And it told me that it had been following the development and progress of humanity for eons, eons and eons. And that one day, humanity will fulfill the reason it was created. And as it shared that with me, it showed me an image of the Earth from space. And it's beautiful, really beautiful image. And as I looked at it, it showed me this golden, whitish colored light that slowly spread around the globe. And it said, the creation of that light, that energy, is the reason human beings exist, why we're on the planet. And as I began to ponder, well, what was it? What is it that we're going to create in the future? Then the information was, it was love. Humanity's role on the Earth is to bring into this dimension we commonly call the third dimension, love in manifestation, in a concrete form. That's what I was shown. And after that vision, I began to wonder, well, what have I been doing as a scientist? Am I helping this phenomenon to occur in the future? Am I hindering it? Then I began to wonder, well, what about science in general? Now, I knew science is mainly materialistic and therefore not really helping things along too much.
Not in this area.
No. But I also knew there were scientists who have active spiritual lives. And so I set about interviewing them. I interviewed over 30 scientists for the book, mainly biomedical scientists, some physicists, and others. They shared with me their spiritual journey, transpersonal experiences, mystical experiences, metaphysical experiences.
Most of which they keep from public view.
The vast majority of scientists do, for perhaps obvious reasons, and
right.
if it's not...
Witch hunting. I mean, literally, things haven't changed much since the Inquisition. Yeah. In fact, a lot of people state, Jen Ingalls Smith, for example, a psychiatrist who also deals now a lot with the shamanic realms and such, says one of the most prominent imprints right now in the more astral field that people are moving through and still affect human beings has to do with the leftover imprint of the days of the Inquisition. And that many, many of these beings and scientists and healers and artists are back and afraid to represent their truth.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense to me. That underlying imprint from the subconscious level.
Yeah.
And then, of course, on the conscious level, most scientists, or at least in the academic realm, value their reputation. Reputation is everything.
Right.
And if you start deviating off into certain areas, it can hurt just a little bit your reputation. And
which affects grants and tenure and everything.
Absolutely.
Tell us a little bit about your own scientific background. We'll just go through you kind of quickly so we can get to the meat of what you're trying to share here today.
Sure. Well, I ended up in science because I had a metaphysical experience when I was a young boy in high school, actually.
What was it?
It was an out-of-body experience when I was meditating. And I had learned transcendental meditation a few months earlier, sat down under an oak tree to meditate, and
boom,
bam, I'm out of my body looking down. It was initially startling. I had never heard of such a thing. I was raised Catholic. There was no discussion of expanded consciousness at all. But I settled into it very quickly. And what I noticed was there was me, Paul, that I knew myself to be having the experience, but also a much larger me. A larger me that was extremely comfortable with the situation. It was familiar. It was peaceful. After I returned to my body, so to speak, I began to wonder, well, who am I? Am I this Paul? Am I that Paul? what is my potential as a human being? And that really led me certainly into esoteric studies, primarily Vedanta, but also to pursue science. Because I figured, well, science can get me there.
Talk
It
about
has
your
the
background
answers.
a little bit in science.
My area in science has been primarily biomedical, behavioral medicine, integrated medicine, oncology, I'm very collaborative and
Yeah, yeah.
interdisciplinary.
Yeah.
And been pretty much in traditional biomedicine, but I always kept this spiritual side of me off the table. As we said a moment ago, most scientists do. But in the last handful of years, I began to let that change, and now, of course, it's all out in the book.